inside the Dunkin' Donuts Center here in Providence, Rhode Island. It's Fox College Hoops, the in-state rivalry. Rhode Island against Providence. And hello, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Vin Parisi. And Vin, this is the game in the state of Rhode Island. These two teams do not like each other. What we do like, though, is that there are some very good, young, talented players in this game.
Absolutely. Guard play is crucial for tonight's matchup, and two very talented perimeter guys will be on display. E.C. Matthews is one of the top sophomores in the nation for Dan Hurley, and Chris Dunn is the future of the point guard position for Ed Cooley.
A look at the starting lineups. Those two players are in it for their respective teams. Matthews joined in the backcourt by Biggie Minnis, Jared Terrell. Up front, Hassan Martin and Gilvitas Baruta for Providence. Dunn is joined in the backcourt by the freshman Jalen Lindsay. LaDontae Henton up front with Tyler Harris and Carson DeRozier. The officials for tonight's game, Jamie Lucky, Brian O'Connell, and Tim Clockerty. This is the 127th meeting between these two schools. Providence holds the lead. Providence in the gray, Rhode Island in the blue. We're all set for basketball here. The fans on their feet at the dunk.
Hey, Justin, it's a small little state, but a big, big game for the two fan bases here tonight.
Providence controls the tip. Chris Dunn running the point here for the Friars. Harris lost it. Turnover. Rhode Island basketball. The Providence Friars, having lost 3 in a row, coming off a loss on Monday night right here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center to Brown, 77-67. You know this team is itching to get off to a good start.
No question about that. Ed Cooley will go with a lot of zone tonight because of his size, but he wants to see defensive intensity early. They're starting man-to-man.
Down low, Chris Dunn with a steal against Hassan Martin. LaDontae Henton on the baseline. Takes the jumper, no good. Rebound by Baruta. The fans will stand until Providence makes a bucket. E.C. Matthews, they kick out to the corner.
Look for Matthews to operate late in the shot clock with pick and rolls.
For 3, count it. E.C. Matthews shooting 37% from three-point land on the season. Makes his first. He averaged over 16 points per game this year.
Look at that talent on the perimeter. Forget about the Atlantic 10. That's one of the top sophomores in the nation, folks.
Last year's co-A10 Rookie of the Year. Providence having some trouble getting to their offense. Harris to the reverse. Got it to go. Tyler Harris, the junior of Dix Hills, New York, averaging almost 12.5 per game.
Well, bucket for the Friars, but the tone has been set at the defensive end in front of Dan Hurley. They've come out aggressive.
Underneath, Biggie Minnis off the feed from Hassan Martin. Both teams in their practices really working with moving without the ball.
It's a ball club that does not like zone. Dan Hurley loves that half-court aggressive man-to-man.
Dunn underneath for Harris. He gets fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Ed Cooley and his coaching staff have been talking about pick-and-roll defense on the perimeter, but it's not just because they love to dribble, penetrate, and get in the lane. It's because guys like E.C. Matthews have that ability. And when you have that luxury out of your half-court offense in college basketball, changes the whole dynamic of your guard play.
Tyler Harris at the line. Biggie Minnis called for his first foul, the team's first. Dan Hurley in his 3rd year with the Rams, helping turn this program around. His first year, 8-21. Last year, 14-18. He's got a couple of top 100 recruits on this team, and they're off to a 5-2 start.
Said a couple of years ago, at the rate Dan Hurley and Ed Cooley hit the ground running with their recruiting classes on a national level, that this game was going to have some spice to it in a couple of years, and it has not disappointed.
We talked about some of the players. Also, Jared Terrell, another freshman, a top 100 recruit for Rhode Island. Chris Dunn, a big-time player for Providence. Minnis No good, but there the putback is Hassan Martin.
That's the way you battle on the road. Every shot's not going to drop from your guards. Your front line has to clean up the mess sometimes.
You spent a lot of time around both these programs. How big of a rivalry is this game?
And listen, it's their job to downplay it at times, but the kids are aware of it. The fans are aware of it. And make no mistake about it, the coaching staffs are aware of it. This is a long offseason. You could hear about it for several months if you drop this one.
A tip by Dunn, able to get there. Dunn with a finish. Chris Dunn, the last 4 points here for Providence. And trying to get this crowd into it.
Dan Hurley spoke with us about limiting turnovers this afternoon at the shoot-around to take away that tempo, take away the runs, to take the crowd out of it.
Providence in the 2-3 zone. Baruda against DeRozier. A kick out. Terrell for 3. Rebound for Dunn.
They tried to go to the high-low there with Baruda at the high post. Good job by the back line of Ed Cooley's zone to take it away.
Skip pass. Ladonte Henson for 3. Off the back of the rim. The rebound for Biggie Minnis. Minnis will slow things down here for the Rams. And Matthews says, hey, come back, take the ball, let me play on the wing. Terrell running the baseline. Shot clock down to 10. Minnis underneath for Baruda. Has it blocked by Harris. Out of bounds, will stay Rhode Island basketball with 3 on the shot clock.
Ed Cooley said, you know, my guards are on the young side, so we'll have up and down nights, but Chris Dunn off to a good start tonight.
Coldie's lozenges are...
Well, last year these two teams met. The coaches, we talked about how they feel about each other. There's mutual respect, but they got into it in a close game late. The putback there by Tyler Harris put his team up by 3. But the next possession, there's E.C. Matthews taking it to the hoop. And what do you know, but we've got ourselves a ball game. Kadeem Batch makes 1 of 2 at the line, and this for the win by Matthews comes up short, and Providence escaped with a 1-point victory. A big win for Ed Cooley's bunch. Last year, Cooley in his 4th year with the Friars led his team to the NCAA tournament last year after winning the Big East tournament. And here they are with 3 seconds on the shot clock now for Rhode Island. Providence up by 1. Matthews throws it up. Got a good shot, and there's Dunn with the rebound. Harris, the spin move in the lane, came back. And a rebound for Baruda. Running the floor. Terrell leaves it off for Martin, who can sky. DeRozier got a piece of it out of bounds, and it will be Providence basketball.
Rams not connecting on the transition run out, but I like the mentality here. Don't play it conservative. You do not need to walk it up every time on the road. You have to push the pace, and you have to pick your opportunities. Just a better defensive play by DeRozier.
There was a loose ball foul called against Baruda. So Gilvitas Baruda picks up his first, the team's second. Harris trying to post up, and he draws the foul against Jared Terrell. That'll be Terrell's first and the team's 3rd.
Running that very patient half-court flex offense that Ed Cooley loves to run. Terrell and Harris really grappling down there in the paint off the ball.
TJ Buchanan came in, replaced the freshman Jared Terrell. Dunn in the paint, little floater, nice shot.
How about the start for Chris Dunn? 3 for 3 from the field, 6 points, 2 steals, and a rebound, filling up every column of the box score here early for Ed Cooley.
You watch him, and he just moves like a basketball player. He's got those long arms. That's why they missed him so much last year, when he missed almost the entire year with that shoulder injury.
No question.
Buchanan. Kicked out, gets it back. Baruda can't handle it. Another turnover here for Rhode Island. Again, as you mentioned it, Hurley sets us today. Got to limit those turnovers. Unable to finish from up close to Rozier. Here comes Rhode Island.
Nice little slip by the screener. Made it look like it was a down screen for Lindsay.
Martin has it blocked by Dunn, but there's Baruta with the putback. An impressive block to Rozier, and Dunn came over. But able to stay with it. Rhode Island trails by 1.
The bigs are being a factor defensively in the paint and staying out of foul trouble. That's key from your big guys down low.
Henson from the elbow.
That flex, baseline screening into down screens. Ed Cooley worked many years for Al Skinner, who loved the offense.
And there's the patience paying off. Ladonte Henson from Dunn. 3-point lead for the Friars.
Dan Hurley talked about the first 7 or 8 minutes of this game, not letting it get away from them, establishing tempo. And now both ball clubs are going to the bench with multiple guys here. These are the crucial points of the games for runs.
Baseline jumper by Martin is good. Hassan Martin, who had 13 points in the victory over Southern Miss on Saturday. A 75-43 win for Rhode Island. DeRosa didn't want the shot.
The Rams will dig in and make you work on offense.
Dunn finds Harris in the paint, and Harris will get called. Oh, looked like maybe called for steps. Instead, a foul against Hassan Martin, and that's the first against him.
There was one-on-one with Buchanan in the post. And that's the flex to perfection. Ladonte Henton across the baseline. Ed Cooley worked for Al Skinner at Boston College and URI, and he loved that flex. Continuity offense has a lot of baseline screening, a lot of down screening at the elbows. And Dan Hurley talking it over with Jamie Luckey. Doesn't look like he's inviting them to lunch, but we'll be talking about that weak side. That was a tough one. Harris had Buchanan on his back. They called it on Martin from the weak side.
A couple of substitutions for both teams into the game for the first time for Providence. Kyron Cartwright.
See,
and this is a look at it.
One-on-one there in the post. Ooh. It was tight.
Harris makes both. Pascal Chukwu in for the first time, the big 7'2" center for Providence. For Rhode Island, Jarvis Garrett, number 1, is in. Terrell is back in. And also Earl Watson, number 33, in for the first time. Watson on the baseline.
Look at the length out of this zone here. This is the big lineup.
In some trouble on the baselines, Buchanan. Loose ball. Henson has it. Here comes Cartwright looking to push for Providence. Cartwright lobs it up. And there's the freshman Chukwu throwing it down.
What a heady play by the freshman Cartwright. Turned the corner on the dribble penetration. Just knew the big guy was there. If you were 7'2", if you were 7'2", Just, I would just throw it up in the air as well.
Minus 3 off the back of the rim. The rebound for Watson. He gets fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, this is how he hurts here on dribble penetration. Doesn't hurt when you got the big fella that size in the middle.
Island 5-2 on the season. Let's go back and see.
Flash, high-low.
Yeah, it's got to be Earl Watson shooting free throws.
Absolutely. If they see that version.
And now what's the difference? Well, Earl Watson on the season is 5 for 14 at the free throw line. And Jarvis Garrett is 6 for 10. 6 for 10 is not great, but it's almost double
It's
what
better
Watson
than 5
is.
for 14. It gave a little extra time out here for Dan Hurley and Ed Cooley to huddle with their guys.
Okay, so the point has been taken away. It's 16-11. And now it's going to be Earl Watts at the free throw line to shoot 2. Hey, give credit for trying.
That's right.
And Watson says, I'm not a shooter. Look at that touch I just had.
And Dan Hurley and Ed Cooley are pointing to each other, laughing there, saying, I'm watching you. He says, no, I'm watching you.
1 for 2 at the line. The rebound by Chukwu. Chris Dunn in the ball game here for Providence with the Friars up by 4. 11 minutes to go here in the first half.
And that's a side fans don't always see. You know, they see them drawing at each other for those 5 seconds at the Ryan Center last year. These guys are at luncheons throughout the state of Rhode Island year-round. Chat so often on the recruiting trails.
Garrett gets inside the kick out.
See the mentality of the Rhode Island guards to always dribble penetrate. Dan Hurley yells pink touches with his guards just as much as he does with his post players. Want to get in the lane there, 2 feet in the paint.
Baruda drops it off for Watson. Goes to reverse, no good. There's Ladonte Hanson with a rebound. Harris running the floor. Takes the bump, no whistle. Loose ball on the floor. Still loose. Bodies flying everywhere. And we've got a timeout by Rhode Island. TJ Buchanan slow to get up. Looked like he may have gotten kicked in the face. A timeout here on the floor with Providence leading just about halfway through this first half. And the hustle play, the effort by both teams going for this loose ball.
Look at the bodies flying all over the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And it did
to win
look
another
like
couple of seconds, Dan Hurley would have been in there on top.
TJ Buchanan did get an inadvertent kick to the face. He goes to the bench. E.C. Matthews is back in for the Rams. Matthews with that 1 3-pointer, and that's it so far. Terrell dribbles back up. Terrell and Matthews, the 2 outside shooters. There's Dunn again getting a hand on it.
See, that's the length at the guard position. Not a lot of teams have that length at the top 2 spots. They have it on the baseline. They deflect the high post feeds.
Ben Bentel, a freshman, in, dumps it off to another freshman, and Chukwu. You lose players like Bryce Cotton, Kadeem Batch. You need your young guys to step up. Ben Bentel, Pascal Chukwu, Lindsey. A lot of young players for this Providence team this year.
And Cooley has them for 4 more years.
He hopes. Matthews, little shake and bake. Matthews, a deep 3. And there is Dunn going high for the rebound. Baruda on the floor with him. It's picked up by Chukwu. And Dunn gets it back.
I love how hard these kids are playing tonight.
Oh, watch out. Offensive foul against Bentel. He's saying that maybe there is a flop by Baruda, and now the officials are going to go look at this to the monitor.
I was going to say, never mind the flop. You better hope it's not a technical or a flagrant. Jamie Lucky right away signaled that he was going over to the monitor. Ben Bentel flashed to the high post and was in the passing spot out of the flex offense. Gilvitas Baruda pressures up. He's got him on his back heel. Looked a little bit worse live. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a flop there.
Thought it was the elbow that wound up catching him. It was more of just a shoulder turn.
Honestly, what I would love to see, and this is what we saw in real speed and why we're thinking one thing.
See, it looks worse in real speed. Granted, we have the luxury of slow motion.
Right. But one thing I would like is that if you went to the monitor and you said it's not a flagrant foul, but instead call a foul against the flop, so that we stop seeing the flops in basketball.
So almost be able to go back and correct the mistake.
Yeah, just, I mean, I know we can't correct all mistakes, but for that one, this kid's now in the risk of maybe being, thrown out of the game.
You and a couple of commissioners need to sit down and break bread.
Either that or, at Rhode Island, they've got really good acting classes.
That's right.
Matthews trying to go baseline.
Going to be efficient with your spacing against this zone. It's so long. Not a lot of air space.
Matthews able to hang in the air and draw the foul. He'll go to the free throw line. Providence, they got off to a really good start. The last 3 games, Kentucky, Boston College, Brown, it's been a totally different story.
And it was against some good matchups. It was against Notre Dame. It was against the likes of Florida State. And now all of a sudden you look up, if you're a Friar fan and your team's 10th in the Big East in three-point shooting, obviously still very, very early and lots of basketball left before conference play begins, but that's where the youth at the guard position and the loss of Bryce Cotton will have that effect, and Friar fans will see it at times.
Matthews, a 67% free throw shooter, makes 1 of 2. 5-point lead for Providence, coming up on 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Jalen Lindsay, a 3-point shooter, back in for the Friars. Done the spin move, pretty move in the paint, can't finish. The rebound out to Terrell. Good job by Providence getting back on defense.
Absolutely. Lindsay was the only guy back for the first few seconds.
And a foul as Biggie Minnis draws the foul. That'll be the team's 4th. 18-13. Providence leading. Well, last season, Providence went to the Big East tournament on the bubble. What would they do? They make it all the way to the finals and take on Doug McDermott and Creighton. And there was Bryce Cotton, 23 points, but down the stretch, LaDontae Henson hits the big shot. And Providence wins the Big East tournament, went on to the NCAA tournament where they lost by 2 against North Carolina. But what a run it was for Ed Cooley and the Friars at Madison Square Garden. They beat St. John's, they beat Seton Hall, and of course take down Creighton.
And nobody had them cutting down the nets that Saturday night at MSG. One of the best stories in all of college basketball last year. And I'll tell you, the last couple of weeks of the season, especially in March, Bryce Cotton was playing as well as any guard in the country. But you just said it, if LaDontae Henson does not hit that baseline jumper, their name might not get called.
I think probably 2 guards come to mind when you say as well as any guard in the country. It was Bryce Cotton and Shabazz Napier.
Yes.
Those 2 guys just carried their respective teams.
Small guards as well.
On the baseline, shuffling his feet was Hassan Martin, a turnover. That's turnover number 6 for the Rams.
It's a good call by Jamie Lucky there. The dump off, now you got to pivot. Now you have to 1-2. You see, and almost Carson DeRozier inadvertently helped right there when their feet bumped into each other, but the feet popped a little bit.
Henson underneath, off the glass, is short. And the rebound by Matthews. Matthews, a one-man break. European step through, draws the foul, and he'll go back to the free throw line. That's against Carson DeRozier, his first, and the team's 5th here in the first half.
E.C. Matthews at 6'5". Handle the basketball with anyone. See how quick he got up in the break that time in transition and putting the moves on.
Waiting for a towel to wipe up the floor. This was an area of concern during practice yesterday for Providence, a league with all the rain that's come through here in Providence.
Look at no hesitation. Matthews gets the defensive board, the little Euro step, misdirection, left done in the dust, and able to get the 2 free throw attempts.
Matthews, 1 for 2 at the line here tonight. Now 2 for 3, right on his season average. 4-point ball game. Able to make both. 3-point lead for the Friars. This is what I'm surprised more teams don't do against Dunn, is really pressure him. Make him dribble up against the pressure. He's had a game this year with 10 turnovers, had 6 turnovers against Brown. Henson takes the screen by DeRozier. Henson off the glass, no good. Loose ball comes out to Terrell. They've got numbers. Terrell, pretty lead, unable to handle it though, is Terrell Rochelle. A great look by the freshman Terrell.
Terrific play. High basketball IQ decision by Terrell. Look at the textbook jump stop at the free throw line. Maybe the angle could have been there for a bounce pass, but Rochelle not ready for it.
Henson top of the key. And a foul away from the ball.
See, that's one of the positives of this continuity offense, is that it's down screen, back screen, cut, cross screen. You are defending 8 to 9 screens sometimes in one possession. When you're trying to play hard, when you're trying to have intensity, not always easy to avoid the whistles.
Henson up close, puts it in. He's got 4, back up to a 5-point lead. That foul was against E.C. Matthews. It was his first, the team's 5th. 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Rhode Island with more turnovers than field goals made. On the baseline, there's Matthews getting a man up in the air. And it's out of bounds. Will stay Rhode Island basketball. Baruta and T.J. Buchanan coming back in.
These are veterans. These are guys that have a lot of minutes under their belt. You remember Dan Hurley was telling us earlier today, yes, our freshmen and sophomores are talented, but we need the experience of our juniors and seniors for this type of road game.
Rhode Island has missed 9 of its last 11 shots. Trailing by just 5, though. Buchanan finds Terrell. Matthews against Dunn, drives by him, pretty move. E.C. Matthews.
He got by the first line of the defense, and then he burned the help side as well.
Harris for 3 is long, and a weak side rebound by Matthews. Buchanan not want to look for his own shot. Terrell, air ball, there with a rebound and putback. Hassan Martin. And guess what? It's a 1-point game.
Hustle, plays hard, and a tremendous nose for the basketball. Hassan Martin.
Dunn all the way to the hoop with the left. Pretty move by Chris Dunn. Hey, we must know something. Did we talk about Dunn and E.C. Matthews in the open?
Dan Hurley going crazy on the sideline, saying, how does he get a direct drive from 35 feet away and nobody steps up from the weak side?
Martin looking for something, pulls up from 6, back of the rim, and there's Dunn with a rebound. 4th rebound for Dunn. Harris. And LaDontae Henson will be called for an over-the-back foul. That is the team's 6th in the first against Henson. Carson DeRozier goes out, back in is Pascal Chukwu for the Friars. T.J. Buchanan, he's the intangible guy for this Rhode Island team, but not one to look for his own shot. Terrell Matthews, the 2 scorers on the floor right now. Baruta goes right in the body of Chukwu and puts it in. That's a veteran.
And that is what URI needs tonight. They need to challenge the Friars on the baseline. All of the offensive pressure cannot just be on E.C. Matthews.
Henson. What do we have? Got it in the foul. A blocking foul against Baruta. LaDontae Henson will go to the free throw line, trying to convert the three-point play.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of experience on the floor, but it's the two sophomores we talked about at the top. E.C. Matthews turning it up for Dan Hurley, and Chris Dunn getting it done for Ed Cooley.
I could use a hot dog right now.
Is that mustard or a banana?
I'm thinking it's a banana for a complete meal. A hot dog with a banana afterwards for dessert.
You don't really go
Healthy.
fruit with the hot dog.
Let's go back and look at that play by LaDontae Henson.
Well, Dan Hurley was upset on the sideline. See, right there, Baruta takes the hit, but the feet are moving. Obviously, head coaches on the sidelines do not have the luxury of the instant replay like we do. It's not just about the hit. So often, you know, we see the hit, we see bodies flying, we see the hard dribble penetration. Baruta's feet moving.
Look, Baruta drew the foul before against the freshman Bentel when he went for the flop. And now he gets called for the foul here. And at the free throw line, trying to convert the three-point play is Henson. And he does it. 25-21. Providence leading Rhode Island here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence. Justin Kutcher alongside Vin Parisi. This rivalry game, the Ocean State rivalry. 127th meeting. The Friars have won the last 4. Turnovers have been an issue here for Rhode Island. 7 in the first half. Shot clock down to 10. Buchanan has trouble with that pass. Shot clock at 7. Matthews in the paint, hangs and puts it in. Took a bump from Chuku and still able to finish. He's got 10.
See, that's a sophomore making a senior play. You see the little hang there, the little veteran move of taking the hit and slowing himself down and not being out of control.
Harris posting up. Harris spins baseline. And it looks like we're going to have a foul against Rhode Island. And that is the team's 7th, so 1-1. And the foul is against T.J. Buchanan, his first. So 1-1, couple of substitutions. Kyron Cartwright, Carson DeRozier back in. Chuku and Lindsay go to the bench for the Friars. Short on the free throw, out of bounds off of Rhode Island, and it will stay Providence basketball.
You see, what I love is these two head coaches, Justin, embrace this rivalry, and not just from a player's perspective. These guys know about the rich tradition from the coaching perspective of these two programs. You have Rick Barnes, the Big East championship on the Providence side, Rick Pitino's Final Four run in '87, Pete Gillen's Elite 8 run in '97. You look at the Rhode Island side of things, Tom Penders and his great 1988 Sweet 16 run, just rich tradition, and this is one of the more exciting and juicier rivalries in all of college hoops.
And LaDontae Henson gets the roll, 27-23. 9 points for LaDontae Henson.
See, that polish he's put on his game the last year or two was not there as much the first 2 years.
Good backdoor cut. Martin lost it on the way up, and a foul. And let's see who this will be against. It's going to be a 1-on-1.
The last year or two, there's been no hesitation whenever LaDontae Henson has been in a face-up rip-through scenario. So comfortable handling the rock.
Tyler Harris was called for the foul, his first. Hassan Martin at the free throw line. An explosive player. Makes the front end. Hassan Martin out of Staten Island, New York. This is a guy who you can look at him, and you see how athletic he is when you watch him on the floor. He put on 15 to 20 pounds of muscle during the offseason, a fight for the rebound. And it's into the hands of Kyron Cartwright.
He's going to be given Atlantic 10 head coaches fits in January and February.
Henson posting up. Harris in the paint. Tip by Dunn, out of bounds. It will stay Providence basketball. And a substitution, Ben Mental back in for the Friars, and Biggie Minnis back in for Rhode Island. DeRozier goes to the bench, and Garrett goes to the bench.
Crafty post up by Hinton to secure that ball. Swish Harris just went up right away for the little pull-up J there.
And a holding foul here against Jared Terrell.
See, that's craftier offense rather than poor defense by Jared Terrell. That's why Hinton is such a tough cover. Preseason All-Big East second team, Ed Cooley was vocal and felt he should have been a first-teamer, but see the experience. He's that old man veterans game.
Makes the front end. That foul against Terrell was his second. So into the game for the first time is Matthew Butler, number 11. And you mentioned it, just the fact how he kind of repositioned himself to get that post, to take that feed is how he drew the foul against the freshman.
You see young players, they use the arms, they use the elbows, they get called for push-offs, and then the guys that have that experience realize it's all about footwork sometimes.
Back up to a 5-point lead here for the Friars. Minnis waiting for somebody to make a move. Matthews, you can see them get out to him right away. He's the shooter on the floor. Minnis. Wow, a foul is going to be called. That's against Tyler Harris, his second. The team's 8th, so 1-on-1 here for Biggie Minnis. Minnis on the season came in 4 for 5 at the free throw line. Harris goes to the bench for those 2 fouls. DeRozier is back in.
Could affect a 5-point ball game now in the final minute. That momentum as guys are heading into the locker room at the half, so important.
Minnis, the transfer out of Texas Tech, had a career-high 4 steals against Southern Miss on Saturday. He's wearing the Charlotte Hornets colors on the sneakers.
I like that.
In case you didn't realize, I'm a sneaker guy.
You have anything aqua and purple like that?
Back in the day, I had the old school Larry Johnsons, the grandma shoes by Converse. 8th grade basketball, baby.
The true Hornets.
Dunn goes baseline, gets shoved by Minnis. That's the 19th foul, so it's a free throw barrage here in the final minute. Yep, those are the shoes. Are you trying to tell me you don't think of the Charlotte Hornets when you see those colors?
I thought those are the ones you were wearing at the shoot-around today.
I like those.
You're saying back in the day. I feel like I just saw that. And Dan Hurley working the officials for every whistle he can get. It's going to be a long final minute of the half.
Dunn makes the first free throw. 9 points on the night now for Chris Dunn, averaging 11.4 on the season. Substitution, Dunn goes to the bench. This one doesn't pick up a foul. You bring in Jalen Lindsey here for Providence.
I like it. 49 seconds left, as you mentioned. You don't pick up a cheap one, and now you have Lindsey as the shooter. Maybe hit a big one in the final seconds.
Movement underneath. Martin got fouled by DeRozier. It looked like the ball just kind of came out. Number 2 against DeRozier.
So I love it when coaches have a guard flash just below the foul line. That's the sweet spot.
There's definitely the foul. You got him on the...
Yep. The high-low there. So often you think 2 big guys high-low from the high post to the cup. You think you have those guards flash in there, they could deliver the basketball better.
Back in for Rhode Island, Earl Watson, and Dunn comes back in. You take out DeRozier with those 2 fouls. You put Dunn back in to let him go back on offense. Out of bounds, throws it off of, and they're going to say it's off of Rhode Island, so Providence basketball, and a timeout now by Ed Cooley. 5-point lead. 0.2 of a second difference. Shot clock and game clock. 5-point lead for the Friars over the Rams with 35.2 seconds to go. Ed Cooley calls a timeout. What do you see them drawing up for this final play of the first half?
Well, look for Chris Dunn to bring it up and handle it. Would not be surprised here if you saw some of that high pick and roll, that throwback action for LaDante Henton. It's tough to take away both, Henton on the perimeter and Dunn's penetration.
Henton's got 11, Dunn's got 10 here in the first half.
Especially if it gets late in the shot clock.
Again, a 0.2 of a second difference, shot clock to game clock. Dunn says clear out. Dunn, kick out, the corner. Harris the pump fake, step back for three. No good, and the rebound by E.C. Matthews. 31-26, Providence leading Rhode Island at the half. After a commercial break, Alan Massengale will be in the Fox Sports News Desk in Los Angeles. A busy day in sports. We'll get you caught up on all that. A 5-point lead for the Friars. 1-point game with Providence winning 50-49. This year at the half, it's a 5-point lead for the Friars as we take a look at those first half stats. And free throws, 9 for 10 for Providence. What numbers stand out to you?
The telling line, Justin, is 1 for 8 total from three-point land for both ball clubs combined. And both of these teams have been inconsistent and have had some shooting woes of late. That just shows you that containing dribble penetration and who makes their free throws in the final stanza is going to be so crucial.
By the way, just because it's fun to talk about, we've seen Yale beat UConn this year.
Yep.
Brown beat Providence this week.
NJIT beat Michigan.
Well, I was going to go with the Ivy Leagues, but NJIT beat Michigan. Columbia leads by 3 over Kentucky at the under-16 timeout in the second half.
How about that? And by the way, bad job by me as you were getting into that Ivy League flow.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Where'd you go to school?
To the Ivy League fans out here. Iona.
Yeah, okay. You know,
I'm sorry. Are you an Ivy League guy?
No, I couldn't get into an Ivy League. But my brother and sister are.
Okay. I'll tell you, Ivy League, a lot of buzz recently.
I will say I was always a UPenn fan. Jerome Allen, Matt Maloney, Ira Bowman.
Nice.
All right, back to this game. Rhode Island against Providence. Rhode Island basketball to start the second half. Jared Terrell on the floor with Biggie Minnis, Baruta, Martin, and E.C. Matthews.
I love the first 3-4 minutes of the second half. You get to see what adjustments, what was tweaked inside the locker room by the staffs.
Matthews in the corner. Minnis gets it blocked by Dunn, and Dunn has it. Very nice defense by Chris Dunn.
We talked about his offensive numbers here at the break, now getting it done at the other end.
Henton, Lindsay, Dunn. Out of bounds will stay Providence basketball. DeRozier and Harris. Dunn to inbound.
Here's the flex out of their baseline, out of bounds underneath.
Define what you mean by flex. What is it? You hear so many teams say they're running flex. What is it?
It's a cross screen into a down screen from the elbow. And with man-to-man teams like Rhode Island, make you work every second of the shot clock.
Rhode Island this year has been a second-half team, almost 8 more points per game, actually 8.1 more points per game in the second half. They shoot better from the floor. They shoot better from 3 all in the second half. Martin against DeRozier. And Matthews gets fouled. A reach and foul will be called against LaDante Henton.
The Rams beating the Friars at their own game, which we saw the first 20 minutes, getting the ball, getting into the paint, interior passing, and really getting into the teeth of that half-court Friar defense.
Matthews at the free throw line, 3 for 4 in the first half.
What's funny right now, only about half the dunk is participating in the stand until the first field goal percentage. We have plenty that are just sitting.
All those URI fans are laughing at the Providence fans right now. 12 points now for E.C. Matthews. Biggie Minnis applying some pressure to Dunn. And deflected ball. Enton able to save it. A foul against Biggie Minnis. The first team foul here in the second half, the third foul against Minnis. So does somebody get up off the bench?
Seeing whether that's correct or not, as Dan Hurley encourages Biggie, you can't have that body language. That's not going to help you with the officials, not veteran officials like Jamie Luckey and Brian O'Connell, to see that after their calls.
Dunn. Outside shot off. Martin gets the rebound. E.C. Matthews. Jared Terrell has been very quiet in this game. A guy they expect a lot from. No points so far. Baruda puts up the shot, able to hit it.
See, they went directly in. They didn't mess around with the basketball on the perimeter. They hit wing, immediate high post flash by Baruda.
Lindsay is a shooter, especially off the screens. Dunn has it taken away. Up ahead, here's Terrell with a dunk. And look at this, but Rhode Island goes on top by one. A 6-0 run to open the second half for the Rams.
You can hear the Rhodey faithful from Kingston here at the dunk. Their volume's gone to the next level.
Dunn tried to draw the fourth foul against Minnis. No whistle, now pulls it back out. Henson posting up. The follow dunk by Harris.
What a follow.
Tyler Harris showing some emotion. You don't see that very often from him.
The coaching staff has wanted more aggressive play from him off the basketball. A lot of guys could be aggressive when they have the rock. Go try to make things happen. He did that time.
Baruda leaves it off for Martin with a one-handed flush.
You know, shades of their rivalry game last year at the Ryan Center. Toe-to-toe.
Dunn, offensive foul. Baruda stood his ground. Number 2 against Chris Dunn. And a substitution now for Providence. Coming in is Cartwright.
Tell you, they had a chat at the half, the Rhody Rams, in their locker room, and so did the Providence Friars as well. Guys that maybe played not as aggressive in the first half, bringing the energy here early.
2 turnovers here in the second half for Providence. They had 2 all the first half. Trailing by 1. And a moving screen. This will be against Baruda.
In the first half, we talked about Baruda's feet not being still and taking the hit. That time getting to the spot about a second quicker.
Third foul against Baruda, so Baruda's got 3. Minnis has 3 for Rhode Island. Back into the game is T.J. Buchanan, and Baruda goes to the bench with those 3 fouls.
That's unfortunate because he takes the charge and then he sets an illegal screen up top trying to ball screen the 2-3 zone.
Kyron Cartwright in. Screen set by DeRozier. Cartwright has it stripped, gets it back. Harris along the baseline with a dunk.
Well, you could tell both coaches, Justin, talk about dribble penetration and not settling here early second half. They've been on a mission to get into the paint off the dribble.
Buchanan not looking for a shot. Matthews along the baseline in some trouble. Steps on the baseline for a turnover. Things are heating up. Cooley's jacket is off here at the dunk.
But he's still got the vest, and Tyler Harris bringing the energy early second half. Show early here in the second half, folks. Danny Hurley's guys have come out with extra energy. Tyler Harris crashing the offensive boards. The guards are being unselfish to the bigs down low, and Tyler Harris scored the first 4 PC points in the first half. Same thing here in the second half. Staff just wants to see him stay at that pace, stay with that energy. Such a big and important part of what they do.
Tyler Harris on the season averaging 12.4 points per game. Harris in this ball game has 10, 3 of 9 from the floor, 4 of 5 from the free throw line.
The roadie loves to do this. Just full court, man-to-man defense with ball pressure. Not a trap coming, just making you feel the heat. Making you feel that they're there. Make you make a mistake.
Yeah, I would do this all the time. Force Dunn to turn. Dunn goes back door in reverse.
That's great exit and Owen. Ed Cooley had that option there. He had the right side cleared out. Defense overplayed. He used the back cut.
Cooley asking this crowd to get into it. 3-point lead for Providence. 5 minutes into the second half. Garrett, the pump fake. Buchanan. Shot clock at 8. Terrell's jumper no good. There's Dunn with the rebound. Looking up ahead. Good ball movement. Cartwright, LaDontae Hanson.
That was not a freshman play. That was a veteran play by the freshman Cartwright. 3 Friars touch the basketball within 2 seconds.
And now a timeout taken here by Dan Hurley in Rhode Island. They're on their feet.
Ugly at times. 2 textbook, old-school fundamental buckets by the Friars. When you're overplayed, go back door and pitch it up on the break. Ball doesn't hit the floor. Sweet dish by the freshman Cartwright to the senior Henton.
Providence College, they've made their last 4 shots. They had made 4 the previous 28. A huge turnaround here for the Friars.
That's flipping the script, indeed.
5-point lead for Providence. Terrell, top of the key. There's E.C. Matthews on the wing. Matthews loses it. Hanson able to pick it up. First turnover of the half for Rhode Island. Cartwright leaves it off for Hanson. Offensive foul. And it almost seemed like on that one, with Terrell there, that he started falling before contact was even made.
T.J. Buchanan took the charge.
Excuse me, Buchanan.
Hey, I think that's the right call. I don't think Henton was out of control, but I think you have to give the credit to Buchanan that time. Stepping in, keeping still, and taking the hit in the chest.
Still a 5-point lead. Both teams with turnovers. Dunkin' Donuts Center here in Providence, Rhode Island. Justin Kutcher alongside Ben Parisi. This rivalry game. The Ocean State rivalry. 127th meeting between these 2 schools. Garrett looking to kick it out to the corner. Tipped out of bounds, and it will stay Rhode Island basketball with 13 on the shot clock.
I'll tell you, it's amazing how a mini run on offense affects the pep in your step at the defensive end. The Friars are a step quicker, see more active hands trying to get deflections.
Jarvis Garrett, shot clock at 9. Garrett used the screen, pulls up, and he gets fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. The foul was against Dunn, and that's number 3 against Dunn. So now all of a sudden, with 13:33 to go, you have to start looking at foul situations. Both teams now playing with guys with 3 fouls.
You have to be smart with your fouls. See, this isn't a smart one. You don't need to swat from the side. You don't need to block jump shots. You want to be solid, make them take tough twos over you contested. It's one of the cardinal sins of defense is to foul the jump shooter.
Garrett can hit the first. Pascal Chukwu comes in, replacing DeRozier. LaDontae Hanson, Chris Dunn, both with 3 fouls for Providence. Gelvitas Baruta has 3. for Rhode Island. And Minnis also has 3 for Rhode Island. 1 of 2 at the line. 4-point ball game.
A sophomore and 2 freshmen on the court right now.
Alley-oop for freshman. Shuku from the other freshman. Cartwright, the second time they've hooked up for an alley-oop.
Ed Cooley's pointing to the ceiling, to the official Brian O'Connell, saying that's, is he saying water's coming from the ceiling?
Water on the floor.
Maybe because the alley-oop pass was so high. My, how far out Cartwright was. Throws it up to the tree. Chuku, the big fella.
7'2", 226 pounds. Out of Westport, Connecticut. Played his high school ball at Fairfield Prep. 41-35. The floor is clean.
Ed Cooley was all over that, by the way. At first, I thought he was running to the top of the key to hug Cartwright.
Ed Cooley in practice yesterday was fired up. After that loss to Brown, he said, you know, that was my first non-conference loss here along my career at Providence. Not happy.
I just think you get out of the dunk Monday night at around midnight. You have 24 hours, one-day prep really Tuesday to get ready for this one.
Oh, Buchanan got it blocked by Chuku. Here comes Providence back the other way. Harris for 3. Got it. 11-1 Providence run. Matthews for 3. Big answer right there by the sophomore. They needed that, and a timeout by Dan Hurley. 15 points now for Matthews.
Talk about answering the bell and answering the call. The defensive intensity has gone to the next level, folks, at both ends. Starts with the block at this end. Some forearm to forearm there. Dan Hurley was going crazy on the sidelines. He wanted a foul, but this is when the Providence Friars are at their best offensively at home. When the ball gets to the middle of the floor on the break and guys like Harris, their shooters, can sprint up the sideline and spot up.
You look at what this kid Shuku can do for you. He's tall, long arms. He can block shots. He can feed him the ball underneath. He's not a wide body, but you can see he's going to give valuable minutes this year to Providence.
Well, no doubt about it. Listen, Ed Cooley has said these first few weeks of the season as Chuku's producing just as much as some of the other guys, that he's in a developmental stage. And it's not just about putting on weight and muscle. It's about footwork, spacing, learning the game.
Turnover. Matthews. 5 straight points for Matthews. E.C. Matthews stepping up his game. He's got 17 now.
Early bringing the full court pressure out of the huddle.
Look at Matthews just hounding Cartwright. Cartwright splits it. Harris to the hoop, leaves it off for Chuku. And he'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots. The foul will be called against Buchanan. Things are heating up here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. 4-point lead for Providence, 44-40. These two teams kind of trading punches right now. And you mentioned it, for the first time in this game, we've seen one team come up with a big stop, make a big bucket, then the answer on the other end. This is what you want to see in a rivalry game.
And in a low-scoring game like this, where neither team is pulled away, as you mentioned earlier, 6 points is a good lead.
Yep.
7 points is a big lead. So for E.C. Matthews to come back with that dagger from the top of the key. And listen, he's had the guts to take those type of big shots as a sophomore. And as a freshman last year, as we saw in the first half when we played back last year's rivalry game, went for the game winner as a freshman at the Ryan Center.
Shuku at the line now, 5 and 6 on the season. Makes the first. The Friars have lost 3 in a row. 1 for 2 at the line, out of bounds off of Harris. Rhode Island basketball, they lost to Kentucky by 20, lost to Boston College by 9, and lost against Brown by 10. They lead here by 5. Under 12 to play here in the second half. Menace is back in with those 3 fouls, as is Baruta for Rhode Island. Both guys have 3. Matthews lost it on the way up. Harris nearly out of bounds, able to save it. A turnover for Rhode Island, number 11.
Tell they are cheating out and giving special attention to Matthews and Terrell on the perimeter out of their zone.
Harris goes baseline. Henson, little jump hook. LaDontae Henson over Hassan Martin. 15 now for LaDontae Henson.
It's one of the things that Ed Cooley's veterans do a very good job of doing, interior passing along the baseline. They know each other's moves.
Providence has made its last 6 shots. Baruta can't handle the pass from Martin. Back-to-back turnovers by the Rams. A 7-point lead. This is a danger zone right now for Providence. Good lead for Chuku. Got it. Nine-point lead for Providence.
Freshman to freshman again.
This ties the largest lead of the game. Last time it was a 9-point lead. This man, E.C. Matthews, hit a 3. Baruta again has it slip through his hands.
One was right in the hands. Nothing else to say.
Gotta catch that.
Costly turnover.
Ten minutes to go. Cartwright the kick out. Dunn. Got bumped along the baseline. That is against Baruta, and that's number 4. Baruta will go to the bench. Back in is T.J. Buchanan. And while you don't want to see a player pick up his 4th foul, he's committed back-to-back turnovers. It may not be a bad thing he goes to the bench in favor of T.J. Buchanan. DeRozier comes in, replacing Shuku, who gets a big ovation.
And now the Rams have to gang rebound as a group. Dan Hurley is used to going 3 guards. Now they have 4 guards and Hassan Martin inside.
Dunn will pull it back out. Dunn keeps that dribble alive with the left with a finish.
How crafty was that left hand?
Chris Dunn with 14. Buchanan underneath. Martin got it in the foul. A much-needed bucket there for the Rams.
In the past, he would have tried to go all the way to the front of the cup. Then with experience, you add that with the soft touch with the left hand. And Justin, this is you. This is just weight room. This is just upper body strength under the backboard.
It's why I work out.
No question.
I can take the bump and still finish.
Like Hassan Martin did.
Can't convert the 3-point play, though. 9-point lead for the Friars. Shuku's back in after DeRozier picked up the foul.
Yeah, see, the tendency is to play off the bigs that aren't going to shoot, but sometimes when you pressure up, you can force them into a mistake.
Shot clock at 9. Cartwright bumps on the floor, and that'll be against E.C. Matthews. Second foul against Matthews, and the team's 4th.
He plays a smart floor game. He's been able to be effective on both ends of the floor without getting into foul trouble, and they will need his offense down the stretch if they mount the run.
Harris, baseline jumper, got it. Incorrect mentioned, that was the 15th foul against Rhode Island as Harris continues to show emotion going back down the floor. He's got 15-9 here in the second half. Garrett had it poked away. Buchanan has it stripped by Dunn, and now a foul will be called against Dunn. That's number 4 against Chris Dunn with 8:31 to go.
And Tyler Harris is able to get off his three-point shot with that quick of a release. And that's emotion. That's coming off a bad home loss right there.
Chris Dunn goes to the bench with those 4 fouls. Back in is Jalen Lindsey. So mark it down, 8:31, 53-42. That's when Dunn went to the bench, and now we've got water on the floor.
You have to take advantage of this if you are URI. The way the flow of this game has gone, 8.5 minutes, an 11-point lead is substantial. You're going to have to get it done with defensive pressure. Your guards are going to have to handle PC's length, but we haven't seen leads like this tonight for either club.
Again, the rain has been falling essentially nonstop since yesterday morning here in the Northeast. (53-42), Providence up on top. Matthews bumped by Lindsey. That is the 17th foul, so 1-1 now for E.C. Matthews. So free throws the rest of the way. 8:19 to play. This one's far from over. With Chris still on the bench with those 4 fouls.
You'd have to imagine they make a run at this thing and even it up. E.C. Matthews is going to be a big part, but as you just mentioned, the charity stripe with how physical this game was going to come in was going to be a factor. Rhode Island just about middle of the pack in the A-10 in free throw shooting as he misses his second. Providence 8th in the Big East, so it could be a challenge at times for both clubs.
Free throws advantage Providence in this game. Hanson against Buchanan. Cartwright off the glass. There with the putback is Harris. 17 for Tyler Harris.
All of the Rams had to converge on the dribble penetration. Weak side completely open for the offensive rebound.
Terrell, floater, no good. Harris the rebound. Cartwright, Lindsey for 3. The high arcing shot and air ball. Terrell hangs, no whistle. Matthews for 3. Cartwright with the rebound. Coming up on 7 to go. Ed Cooley says, I want a timeout. My guys look tired.
It's a good timeout. Guys huffing and puffing out there. Both teams been going up. Just not a lot of shots dropping at times, and Rhode Island not able to get a run cooking.
12-point lead, largest lead of the game for Providence. A timeout by Cooley here, and the next dead ball will have another timeout for the under-8 media timeout. But you can see both teams a bit winded. You know what, one thing when watching Rhode Island on offense against this 2-3 zone, there's a lot of side-to-side movement. No, east-west, no north-south movement against that zone.
Yeah, and that's where the length becomes a factor, because what looks like an opening, what looks like daylight, disappears quicker. And, you know, when you talk to the old Big East coaches about Syracuse and Jim Boeheim's zone, it wasn't so much about the contesting of the deep three-point shots. It was, where is your airspace? Where is your pockets? Sometimes it felt like you were dribbling into a spider's web with so much length and trees around you, and that's been a challenge for the Rams against Ed Cooley's zone this second half, is being effective from the mid-range area and getting baskets off dribble penetration.
7 minutes to play here in this second half. Providence trying to make it 5 in a row in this rivalry. And a turnover. Nope. What a save there by LaDante Henton off the body of Jarvis Garrett. And it's going to be Providence basketball when we come back. 55-43, 12-point lead, largest of the game for the Friars.
Well, the biggest reason why the Friars have this double-digit second-half lead is it's been a mix of the young guys and the old guys for Ed Cooley. The big fella, freshman Chukwu on the inside. Chris Dunn getting more and more comfortable leading this ball club. And Tyler Harris being efficient at another level with his perimeter shooting in the second half.
The Friars, 8 assists on 11 field goals here in the second half. They're shooting 70% from the floor. LaDante Henton shuffled the feet, turnover. Not what Ed Cooley wanted out of the timeout for his club. He also didn't agree with the travel. Baruta's back in with 4 fouls.
Screen the perimeter of this zone again.
Butler's in there. Matthews for 3, got it, nothing but net. 21 for E.C. Matthews.
Their game plan coming in was to make him a penetrator that took tough twos. When his feet are set, he's going to hurt you from deep.
DeRocher wasn't looking for the pass. Another turnover here for Providence. Well, E.C. Matthews, he's had some big scoring games this year. The big one was against Nebraska, 26. He's got 21 tonight, and there's still 6 minutes to go.
But it starts with the defense if they're going to get back in this one. Ball pressure has led to a Providence turnover 2 out of the last 3 possessions.
In the high post, Buchanan able to find Baruta. Baruta gets fouled. And that will be against LaDante Henton. That's number 4 against Henton. So Henton has 4. Dunn has 4 for Providence.
And you know what? In a rivalry game, you have 4 fouls. You got to figure out a way to play the final 5 minutes with the 4 and be effective. I'm sorry, Jess. It's just another good job by Hurley putting a guard at the high post that time. TJ Buchanan delivers it from the foul line. Got the arm there. Yep.
For 2 at the line by Baruta, and that was kind of brutal.
Ooh, nice work.
5.5 to go. Lindsey's open, finds Henton on the baseline. Shot clock down to 8. Henton had the position, the foul on the floor, and it's going to be against, I believe that's against number 13, TJ Buchanan. Number 3 against Buchanan. And now back in the game is Hassan Martin replacing Baruta. Next foul against Rhode Island, and Providence is shooting free throws.
There's that flex offense with the screening along the baseline. Rhode Island's pressure has forced some turnovers out of this, though.
They're yelling at Lindsey to clear out, and a foul away from the ball. This will be free throws now. The foul is against Matthew Butler. That's number 1 against Butler, the team's 7th. So at the free throw line goes Jalen Lindsey. Here's the foul trouble mounting up for both teams. Again, Dunn and Henton each with 4. Lindsey makes the first free throw. Now 4 for 5 on the year at the free throw line. First point of the night for Lindsey. Dunn just looking on. His team still up by 10. to 11 points for Providence. Garrett in the paint, the fadeaway. Out of bounds, whose ball? It's going to be Providence basketball.
You want high percentage shots, but eventually you need those mid-range jumpers to fall. E.C. Matthews is not going to get a clean look each possession as they turned up the defensive pressure here in the full court.
Providence trying to get set up in their press break. Cartwright says, clear out, I got it.
It's good. Takes defenders out of there, too.
Now the double team comes. Harris left open. Harris tried for the dunk. Instead got it blocked by Martin. Here comes Matthews with the right, able to finish. Matthews now at 23.
The Euro step again to perfection.
Nearly got a piece of that one. Providence will set it up, take some time. Coming up on 4 minutes to go.
I thought Harris was far away from the bucket to be attempting a dunk there.
Harris along the baseline, the corner three, and air ball. DeRozier has it blocked, and then he gets fouled by Butler on the way up. Another big block by Hassan Martin, but a foul against Butler, and DeRozier's going to the free throw line when we come back. Under 4 to go, 9-point lead for Providence.
Folks, why Hassan Martin is Rhodey's leading shot blocker. Fantastic defensive play against Tyler Harris, and then going against the big fella DeRozier down low. There is no quit in this URI ball club here down the stretch.
Hassan Martin led the A-10 in blocks per game last year at 2.5. And now Carson DeRozier is at the free throw line. 2 shots after the foul against Matthew Butler. Looking for his first points of the night. The story of the game right now for Rhode Island, though, is E.C. Matthews with 23 points, which, if you do your math quickly, that means the rest of the team has 25.
Which means when you're down 10 with 3:50, E.C. Matthews should be making the majority of your offensive action happen, whether it's making the right play, setting up the right teammate, taking the shot, or drawing the free throws.
Both teams in the bonus. Both teams with 8 fouls. Matthews lost it. Chukwu has it. And now it's stolen by Terrell. Buchanan finds Matthews in the corner. Matthews puts it in. Dan Hurley's saying, come on, get up, full court.
He is so good at hanging and eluding defenders when he leaves the floor.
Lindsay gets it over. Only one real ball handler in the game right now for Providence, and that's Cartwright. You see LaDontae Henton and Chris Dunn off the bench, and a timeout taken here by Cooley for that reason. He wants those 2 guys back in. Again, this is what we were talking about. Now, E.C. Matthews has as many points as the rest of his team does.
That is production. 26 points and 10 rebounds. When Rhode Island knocked off top 25 Nebraska out of the Big Ten, their first top 25 win in 16 years.
Wow.
And he brought his A game.
8-point ball game right now. Ed Cooley coaching in the huddle. He's bringing back his 2 stars who each have 4 fouls, LaDontae Henton and Chris Dunn. Henton on the night, 15 points. Dunn, 14 points.
Ed Cooley's telling his guys now, it's not about drawing up plays. It's not about Xing and Oing right now. It's about being strong with the basketball, not turning it over, containing dribble penetration, but most importantly, taking care of the free throw line.
Dunn sat for about 5 minutes. This team was outscored only by 3 points. Shot clock is at 7. Shot clock at 3. Henton has to get the shot up, the step back, and it's an air ball. Shot clock violation. That's a couple times now out of the timeout that Ed Cooley is unhappy with his team's execution.
And another possession of very, very good on-the-ball defense by the Rhode Island Rams without fouling.
By the way, don't look now, but a three-pointer, it's a 5-point game.
That's right.
It was a 12-point lead for Providence. That was our largest lead of the game. Terrell's been quiet. 3 is off, and a rebound for DeRozier.
You don't want to play not to lose if you're Providence, but you need to be aware the clock is on your side.
Cartwright top of the key and a whistle away from the ball. Dunn will be shooting free throws. The foul is against Biggie Minnis. That's number 4 against him.
We talked about that earlier, the continuity of the flex offense and that baseline screening away from the basketball forces you to bump cutters, and you could tell they had the mindset they were going to use 29 to 30 seconds of that shot clock.
3 for 3 at the line. Now for Chris Dunn, 15 points. Minnis goes to the bench. Back in is Jarvis Garrett. Dunn, he had 16, 6 rebounds, 8 assists against Brown. Now Dunn goes to the bench. Back in is Lindsay, so take him out so he avoids picking up his 4th foul. Excuse me, his 5th foul.
He's going offense, defense with them.
Matthews, pretty spin move with the right, again with the finish. 27 now for E.C. Matthews.
So talented offensively. It's scary at times.
And now, loose ball picked up. Rhode Island, Matthews for 3. DeRozier has the rebound, but he turns it over. Buchanan puts it in, and the foul. Whew. Henton picks up the foul. That's number 5 against him. He's done.
We said if they were going to mount a comeback, it was going to start with the sophomore Matthews. The defensive pressure causes a turnover yet again, but the veteran T.J. Buchanan coming up with the big-time play.
LaDontae Henton has fouled out with 15 points. 1:46 to go. 6-point ball game. And Buchanan has a chance to make it a 5-point game.
If you cut this to 5, if you're Dan Hurley, you can play straight up. You can pressure defensively at the other end. You don't need to start worrying about fouling. You're still at 1:46 and potentially a 2-possession game battling at the other end. Obviously, it's 2-possession now at 6, but his guys are going to dig in, and it's going to come down to these final defensive stops.
Largest lead was 12. Buchanan, 12 for 14 at the line on the season. Makes it 5-point game. Full court press. Dunn. He draws the foul against Terrell. And that is the 10th team foul. So 2 free throws now for Chris Dunn. That's number 3 against Jared Terrell.
Dan Hurley was not happy on the sidelines there. He wanted full court defensive pressure to force the turnover, not the foul on purpose.
His first miss at the line tonight. Now 4 for 5 for Chris Dunn. Gets the second. Back up to a 6-point lead.
You do not need to launch threes, but you got to be quick and efficient and get high percentage looks.
Matthews. He slips. There's definitely water on the floor over there. He slipped twice. Matthews for three. Rebound out of bounds, and it's Providence basketball. And I think somebody should get over there to wipe the floor.
That is a shame if that was the reason, which you haven't seen Matthews have an issue with it, and now Brian O'Connell is having them come out.
Six-point game. You can see him slip a couple times.
That looked like it was more the floor rather than his footing.
Trying for the trap. Providence breaks it. Do you foul?
Well, he wanted pressure in the backcourt to cause the turnover.
Dunn wants the ball. It's tipped. Rhode Island has it. Terrell with a finger roll. And a timeout taken by Hurley and Rhode Island. And he's fired up.
Dan Hurley's gamble works. He was just a second away. I was watching him on the sidelines about saying foul, and he saw his guys in a good double team and said stay in it. He saw Terrell shoot the gap, and the strong upper body of the youngster Terrell finishing at the other end.
4-point game, and you're right. It almost looked like Hurley was saying foul, and Ed Cooley can't believe it, but you know what? In this rivalry, you expect a close game. Last year, it came down to the final shot. Providence able to hang on as E.C. Matthews was not able to hit the game winner. He's got 27 tonight, and it's 61-57, 1:01 to go. Again, what's your strategy here if you're Dan Hurley?
Well, you have to be aggressive in the backcourt. He's going to try for a turnover. I'd be shocked if they immediately foul the first tenth of a second. They get it to the midline. They cross the half-court area. They're going to have to give it up.
Harris and Dunn in the backcourt. They get it over to Cartwright. Now I think you got to think about fouling. Oh, wow. The foul is against Buchanan. And I had to see a replay on that one. It's a two-shot foul. Hurley can't believe it. The Rhode Island team can't believe it.
Well, Danny was being strategic there on the sidelines. There was guys he was saying to foul, guys not to, and that was off the knee.
Wow. Kyron Cartwright at the line. Makes the first.
It's a good situation, good experience for the freshman.
His first point of the night. Makes them both.
Get to the basket and get it quick, too. You don't need to launch yet.
The kick out. Terrell for three. Got it!
Or hit a dagger three and make it a three-point ball game. What do we know?
A one-possession game with 42.8 seconds.
And you know what makes this rivalry so great? Why wouldn't it be a one-possession game with 42 seconds to go? This time, not E.C. Matthews. Jared Terrell. Feet set, look good from the minute, the second it left his hands. The Rams feel the life.
First three of the night for Jared Terrell. Now looking at the game situation here, both teams in a double bonus because the next foul against Providence is the 10th team foul. There are 2 timeouts remaining for the Friars. No more timeouts for Rhode Island. So Dan Hurley, you know he's a great coach with his pipeline. He's telling them not just about this next possession, but the possession after that as well. And Providence, the reason why we're in this situation, they haven't scored a field goal since 7:51.
Well, they have shooting droughts, to say the least. Now, besides the drought, every move that Hurley has made has worked. Delaying the fouling situation, forcing turnovers with his traps. Yes, a couple of missed free throws by Providence, but his youngsters hitting big shots at the right time.
This is always one of those situations where you don't have to foul. You can play good defense and hope for a miss. My fear, though, and I wonder how you feel, but if you play for the miss and you don't get the miss, now all of a sudden it's a 5-point game,
right.
and there's only about 7 seconds left.
Well, he's going to play it straight up. Not that he's against fouling late to avoid the tying 3, but 42 seconds, plenty of time for his defense that he has trusted the entire night to force the turnover.
Harris having trouble getting it in. He gets to the Cartwright.
It's going to be hard for them to use the whole shot clock.
DeRozier was open, and now the foul is given by Buchanan. Dunn will head to the free throw line, and Hurley quickly calls over his crew. And then quickly, Jamie Luckey says, come back on the free throw line. Dunn at the free throw line has got 17 points, 5 of 6 at the line tonight.
And this is strategic. Out of the scouting report, 58% on the season. They're going to make the sophomore Dunn earn it. Taking the approach of extending the game. I like that by Dan Hurley. You're going to steal one on the road. You got to be unconventional at times, and his guys are playing with no fear on the offensive end. He's going to challenge the Friars on the defensive end.
Gets the roll, does Dunn. 19 now for Chris Dunn. 5-point game. Garrett, a lot of dribbling. They want Matthews to get the shot. Garrett for 3, no good. Rebound for Dunn, he gets fouled. They couldn't get the players they wanted to get the shot, whether it was Matthews or Terrell. Instead, Garrett had to put up the 3.
One of the rare possessions in these final minutes to where the spacing was really pushed out far outside the three-point line for the Rams.
18.9 seconds. Dunn at the free throw line for 2. Doesn't hit the first.
Had the chance to make this a 7-point lead.
Substitution. Butler will come back in. Garrett goes to the bench.
Do not want to foul if you're Providence.
Matthews lost it, but it's going to stay Rhode Island basketball. 13.4 seconds, so a 6-point game.
2-possession game, whether it's a 2 or a 3, their shot attempt's going to be quick.
Tip ball by Dunn. Dunn with a run out and the dunk. That will do it. 3 is no good, and Chris Dunn scores 8 of the final 10 points for Providence as the Friars win this rivalry game and snap their 3-game losing streak. Chris Dunn finishes with 22 points, and he stepped up big with those 4 fouls.
And once again, the 2 programs do not disappoint. The game going down to the final possessions, just like last year at the Ryan Center.
The final score, 68-60. Providence defeats Rhode Island. For Vin Parisi, I am Justin Kutcher saying so long from Providence in this interstate rivalry. Well, guess what? It is now 5 in a row for the Friars.
Due to the length of the previous program, we now join the following.